Fifth and the First, a Miraculous Ladybug Adrienette fanfiction, Part 5. It all felt so unreal. How was it already over? It couldn't be real, yet it was. Alia sighed and leaned back in her chair. Tilting her head up, she spotted Marinette staring at Adrienne splashing in the pool. She smirked and poked her friend in the side. Marinette yelped and turned back, looking scandalized before seeing Alia's smirk. It was safe to say that Marinette's face was the same color as her bathing suit, bright pink. "Another year gone, right?" she hummed. Marinette nodded her head and sighed. "I can't believe we only have a year left. I swear, I just met you last month." Marinette giggled. "Yeah, it's all going by so fast," Alia commented, scanning over the backyard. "I feel like slowing down the clock just to enjoy our lives for a little bit longer, just the way it is right now." Marinette nodded in agreement. "Our lives are changing so fast. It feels like the last big change wasn't too long ago, but it was like 3 years ago," she said. As an end-of-the-year party treat, Kim had invited the homeroom to his house for a pool party. Everyone was excited to spend more time together, as they had all gotten very close throughout the years. Now they would be separated for their last year, getting ready to go to universities and such. Still, the party was a lot of fun, especially since Kim had a pool and lots of floaties. Alia smiled at everyone's gleaming faces and laughter echoing around. She just wanted to take a picture of everything, but in a way that captured the joy that everyone was feeling. There was no conflicts, only fun. Chloe had opted to not come, much to Alia's delight, if she was being totally honest. No one had to worry about a fight breaking up between her and Marinette. They'd been fighting more than ever before, each setting off the other faster than they had in the past. It was concerning for the rest of the class at the very least. But they had all learned to diffuse all situations as fast as possible, so there was at least that. And for one, Adrienne had always leapt into action as soon as the girls started snarling at each other. Actually, Adrienne had started jumping into any situation involving her black-haired friend. Marinette had been oblivious to all that was happening and changing, but Alia certainly wasn't. Or maybe Marinette was just in denial. That sounded about right. For instance, Adrienne had been choosing to partner with Marinette more and more in classes. He was always sitting by her at lunch, and was far touchier than before. Alia certainly knew every time he had placed a hand on Marinette's shoulder or brushed her arm with his or anything else, really. Marinette couldn't see it, but Alia picked it up like that. Adrienne was falling in love with Marinette, or more accurately, realizing that he was head over heels in love with her. "Are you two gonna come join us?" Nino called in their direction. Alia smirked and sat up, stretching her arms and cracking her knuckles. "In a water fight? Of course," she said with a laugh, hopping into the water. Marinette followed suit, giggling into the water. "Oh, this feels so nice. It's so hot out here," she said. "That's why you get into the water," Nino teased, and Alia pushed him back into the water. Oh, it's on," he cried out, throwing a wave of water at her. Marinette was hit with a wave and sharply gasped. Alia laughed hard, and Nino and Adrienne were going to die. The other just by association with the first. Logic. In less than a second, the boys were overtaken by a huge wave of water, one that made everyone gasp, point, and then laugh. The competitive blue-eyed girl grinned triumphantly. "Oh, goodness," Adrienne laughed, looking right at Marinette and smiling widely. What a strange expression to have on your face after being overtaken by water and to send said expression to the person that threw the water on you. Interesting. Alia nudged Marinette lightly and she blushed from the attention from Adrian. It didn't take long before everyone else joined into the fun, shooting waves of water at each other. At first, there were two teams fighting, Marinette versus Nino, which was now a hilarious turn of events. Incidentally, Adrian had elected to take Marinette's side, even as everyone else started turning on each other, Adrian and Marinette fought like perfect partners and were basically unbeatable. They covered each other's blind spots and everyone just tried to go for them, but it never really worked. Marinette was definitely shocked and frazzled by the situation, but the goofy grin on her face let Alia know that she was as happy as can be. Pizza's here! Everyone clambered out of the pool to wrap themselves in towels. The pizza was quickly taken and there were people spread all around the backyard, hair still soaked and bodies dripping with water. That wasn't important though. What was important was that everyone got to eat together and laugh about memories they had made throughout the year. Alia and Alex brought up the old memories and funny things that Marinette had done. The set and the latter was thoroughly embarrassed. Oh my god, you guys are the worst, Marinette cried, burying her face in her hands, no doubt trying to hide the redness. Adrian reached a hand out to rest consolingly on her shoulder. She looked up to see him smile at her kindly and immediately shoved her face back into her hands. Alia didn't even try to hide the smirk on her face. You guys are so awful, she muttered. Alia laughed mirthfully. A final picture? You said that 20 minutes ago, Alia said with a laugh. Rose whined and waved the phone around. I know, but just one more, please, the blonde said, making her eyes go innocent and wide. Sighing, the black-haired girl threw her arms out, exclaiming, one more, why not? Okay, do a really cute pose, Rose instructed. Nino shrugged and stood up from his spot next to Alia to come behind her and hug her tight. Ooh, I love this, Rose said, taking a picture. Out of the corner of Alia's eyes, she noticed Adrian had gotten up from where he was seated, next to Marinette. He also went behind Marinette, and then curled his arms around her waist, and, oh yes, it was all coming together. He pressed their cheeks together and hugged tight and smiled for the camera. No doubt Marinette's brain was melted. Adrian was hugging her from behind in the most adorable way possible. Alia was stifling her own laughter for the sake of the picture. Her best friend's eyes went wide, darting around wildly, and she was very clearly panicked. Alia desperately wanted to fall over laughing, and upon catching Nino's eyes, she could tell that he was also dying of laughter on the inside. Did you see that happen? Marinette cried out, pacing around like a maddened person. Alia snorted. Yes, I did, she said with a laugh. She grabbed onto Marinette's shoulders to stop her from moving. You know what this means, right? Alia said seriously. Marinette bit her lip nervously and shrugged. It means he's finally figured out that he's totally in love with you, she explained. Marinette's eyes went wide. You think so? She said, looking over to the blonde in question. He caught her gaze, smiling widely and waving. Alia laughed. Oh, definitely, she said, totally sure. Marinette smiled nervously and breathed in. It was all coming together. The oblivious Adrian had figured it out, and Marinette was about to get her happily ever after.